Hello and welcome to Arcadia. For the last past weeks we have been opening Volo's and Mordenkainen's miniature boxes that I had forgotten about here in my room, and we have been getting some very interesting things. My favorite so far was without a doubt the bone claw that we got in box number 2, I believe. But hopefully we will get something more interesting in this box. I was hoping to get at least a Bodak. It's one of my favorite monsters from Volo's Guide to Monsters. As tradition demands, I will be opening the small miniatures first. First miniature of the day is this a gnoll? Is this an orc? Oh, okay. I know what this is. This is a Claw of Luthic? Yeah. So orcs in D&D are basically religious fanatics. They are so devoted to their pantheon of gods, Grumsh more than all, that they are willing to go in basically jihads like good old Paul Atreides and do whatever the gods demand them to do. And one of their gods is Luthic, which is the wife of Grumsh and the goddess of maternity and protection in a way, and it's a goddess that a lot of female orcs worship, supposedly, especially when nurturing their young, because she is the god of maternity for the orcish pantheon. And according to the D&D lore, the Claws of Luthic are the most faithful disciples of Luthic, and they're basically clerics. There's not much to it. When I first saw in Volo's Guide to Monsters that they were going to make several types of orcs, I was hoping a little bit more. This is basically a standard orc, but just with spell casting and a lot of spells you can easily recognize from the cleric or druid list. So basically, that's all there is to it. Me personally, I will probably be using this miniature in my game as some other type of orc. You know, something that I invent that I find a little bit more interesting in mechanical terms within the game, because another orc who is just capable of casting spells, it's not bad, but I'm pretty sure I can find something more interesting to do. Regardless, the miniature is pretty cool. It has these tribal markings, quite simple on the arm, but very interesting on the face. So yeah, not the best miniature in the world, not the best concept of orc, but I'm still happy with it. Second miniature, I feel like this is a humanoid. Oh, I think I also know what this is. This is a Shadarkai? No, it is a Shadow Dancer. Basically, the Shadarkai are elves that were corrupted by the influence of the Shadowfell, but they are servants of the Raven Queen, so they're not quite as malicious as other creatures, such as the one that we unboxed in our first box. I forget his name now. But yeah, basically they are they are a martial kind of monster or enemy. They fight using these chains on their arms, and it's interesting because they have 3 possible effects from their attacks. They can inflict necrotic damage, they can grapple, or they can restrain, I believe. It's interesting that with each new attack you can produce different effects, but other than that, even though the miniature is quite decent, I think I never used Shadarkai in my games, and I'm not seeing a future game where I might really use them. So I think I will actually be using this miniature as a PC miniature for my players to choose from, or as an enemy, a human enemy, for example. I wish we were told a little bit more about the Shadowfell, because sometimes I get the feeling like that every other plane in Dungeons and Dragons can either be very intuitively understood, like the inner planes, the plane of fire, the plane of water. Some others have deep lore and explanations going along with them, like some of the outer planes in the DMG, or even the Feywild. But the Shadowfell, I think the Shadowfell lacks an adventure revolving around it, or at least a little bit more that we can learn from it. I know more about the Gith culture in the astral plane than everything about the Shadowfell. I just liked a little bit more context about it. We have one other small miniature to... Oh, yes! 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 I told it! Yes! This is a Bodak! Oh, I'm so happy right now, you have no idea. Let me try to convey to you how cool Bodaks are. Basically, they are created by a ritual. Servants of orcas make, they brand their chest, the place where their heart should be, with the mark of orcas. And because of that ritual, they are transformed into these husks devoid of life that not only are lifeless themselves, but they can also draw life from others. It is an amazingly cool monster. It can, in battle, it is extremely dangerous. It's CR5, I believe, but it has an ability that it's called the Death Gaze, which means that any creature that begins their turn within a certain number of feet from the Bodak, I believe it's 30, and don't avert their eyes, the Bodak's Death Gaze can instantly kill them if they fail a saving throw by more than 5, I believe. They can also inflict necrotic damage with their eyes. They are so despised by nature itself that everything runs away from it, and their skin is burned by sun. It's a very interesting monster, a very dangerous one to fight in a battle. It can be, a big boss. I'm not going to see the big bad evil guy from a campaign, because usually those monsters require a little bit more intelligence, and Bodaks are more like mindless beasts that consume all life, except from the ones that are servants of orcas themselves, that they recognize as like kindred spirits. But just having a monster reduce a player character to 0 hit points in a single turn just because they didn't avert their eyes, it's extremely dangerous and can derail a campaign very easily. But it also raises the stakes of the battle in a way that, it just conveys a different feeling to the battle. It just turns everything very real suddenly, and that kind of emotion is something that I am always looking for as a dungeon master. So this is a very cool monster. And there's also legend, like the first Bodak are called the 7 Hierophants of Annihilation, which are servants that are very close to orcas. So there's an opportunity for stories in there as well. It is an amazing monster concept, and I'm so happy that I got one of those in these boxes. It was the miniature that, along with the Bone Claw, I was most eager to get. And they were one of the few miniatures that I got to see in the previews, because normally I go open these boxes blind. Let's open the final big miniature. Oh, it just keeps getting better! Is this a Death Kiss? Or is it a Goth? I think it's oh my god! It's a Death Kiss! Look at this gorgeous... This box is completely amazing! Oh my god, this miniature is just flawless! I like it so much. Even the pose, it looks like it's shying away from you, which helps get that feel of, this is a monster that is dangerous but also not overtly aggressive. It's just, oh god, this is so amazing. As you probably know, beholders are aberrations that can will things into existence. Their thoughts can make things happen. In fact, beholders are generated by other beholders who think of themselves or dream about themselves. I'm not quite sure which one it is right now, but a Death Kiss is produced when a beholder dreams of itself losing blood. And the result is this lesser beholder, which is weaker than a beholder, but still very intimidating, CR10. And because it was generated from this very vivid dream of a beholder losing blood, it is constantly paranoid about bleeding to death. So it feeds on other creatures' blood, and even when it's completely satisfied, it keeps just sucking blood because it is paranoid it is going to bleed to death. And it uses that blood to generate electric energy inside its body, which it uses to attack. It doesn't have eye rays like a beholder. It just has these little toothed tentacles that it uses to grapple creatures and continuously deal lightning damage to them. So it's a very cool monster. It is also intelligent. It can speak the same way a beholder can speak, but it's just a different creature. I just love beholders so much, and I'm completely terrified of them as well. It's every character of mine is afraid of beholders because I myself am afraid of beholders, but still, you cannot not enjoy this amazing miniature. I'm so happy with this box right now. This is my favorite box of all the collection. God, this is just amazing. So among the Bodak, the Bone Claw, this Death Kiss, the Banderhob, the Venom Troll, the Cave Fisher, so many good miniatures came out of this collection. I love miniatures that, collection, sorry, that are made of monsters, that give us things to present to the players so they can fight in the battle map. That's my favorite kind of a collection, and this collection certainly delivered. I'm so glad I opened these boxes that I had lingering around here. I hope they make more of these in the future. I'm kind of sad they didn't separate the two. They could have done a collection just for Volo's Guide to Monsters and a collection just for Mordenkaisen's Tome of Foes. I have no idea why they decided to split the two, but I hope they revisit some of the amazing creatures that came in those two books that didn't get a miniature so far. To you who endured so much of these miniatures being opened in this collection, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did opening these miniatures. I always like to open miniatures and I like to share that feeling, so I hope this resonates with some of you. I know that most people who walk into this channel, this is not the videos for them. But still, I'm willing to bet there are some people who like this kind of thing, and for those, I hope that you enjoy this, and I'm grateful for your viewership. Of course, there's more to see in this channel. In the DMs Then playlist, you will find advice for DMs, and in the D&D tutorial, you will find instructions for how to start playing D&D right away. If you like this, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so YouTube can warn you whenever a new video comes up. And other than that, with a very large smile on my face for all the miniatures that I got in this collection, I bid you farewell, and I hope to see you in the next video.